Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning into my week 7 presentation. This week, this PowerPoint is going to be going over my critical assessment overview where I'll be sharing my outline with you guys. And at the very end, I absolutely welcome any feedback that you guys have or any differing opinions that you might have regarding the final assessment. So, thank you so much for tuning in. So I'm going to be focusing on the City of Harupa Valley, specifically the Department of Code Enforcement Officers. And when we're analyzing the Code of Ethics, there are 4 main compliance topics that associates must agree on during their onboarding process with human resources before they begin the position. The first is that you have to have an obligation to citizens, elected officials, and fellow employees to meet high ethical and professional standards. Second, you have to carry personal integrity, serving to establish public respect, confidence, and trust in the public. Third, you have to strive for greater knowledge and skills to consciously perform productively at a high level. And lastly, you have to act with integrity, and this includes refusing gifts and gratuities that may create a conflict of interest and it would eliminate impartiality in the position. So the frequency of training with code enforcement, this is an everyday process. With every single case, it's a new opportunity to reinforce the values that have been instilled in us from our municipal code, as well as the value-based ethics that Harupa Valley strives to teach us. So supervisors are often working with the code enforcement officers every single day, especially if they see any feedback that they can give regarding cases. And compliance versus value-based training. Harupa Valley actually has a good combination of both. Code enforcement officers often rely on compliance-based training just because we follow the municipal code. However, value-based training is basically the spirit of the law versus letter of the law. And code enforcement officers have to find that fine balance that still upholds the law while taking care of citizens. I'm going to use 3 theoretical frameworks in my essay. The first is going to be deontology, and this is essentially, we have the municipal code, which is our governing ordinance, and within the municipal code there are policies and regulations that we must follow, and that is the guiding principle, especially with code enforcement cases. And also there is utilitarianism, because the municipal code tries to protect the greater good, even if it comes at the cost of the individual who is found in violation. And lastly, we're going to be focusing on virtue ethics because, again, it's spirit of the law versus letter of the law, and this is where code enforcement officers have to walk that fine line. For framing value-based ethics and recommendations for future trainings, the biggest thing is throwing out personal scenarios like a supervisor would when they're using a code enforcement case in order to give feedback. I recommend that these discussions occur with a groupthink method where all the enforcement officers sit down at a round table and they discuss what could have gone better or what went well during the discussion. Thank you guys so much for listening to my presentation. Again, I highly welcome any feedback that you guys have. I'll be listening to y'all's presentations so that way I can give feedback to y'all as well. And let's overall get an amazing grade for this class. Thank you guys.